All right, happy Thursday. Well, we are back catering to our favorite group of women, 40 plus. Today, the topic is nutrition. Women who are entering perimenopause, menopause. How can you take nutrition and help yourself with hot flashes, night sweats, and all kinds of different things? Well, to talk about this topic, we have Heather. She is joining me live from UK. She is a menopause coach as well as a hypnotherapist. Welcome, Heather. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
I'm going to let you share your presentation.
Lovely. So I'll just share my screen for 2 seconds. Okay, and start the slideshow. The slideshow will start. Technical hitch.
That's okay. From the beginning, you can start from the beginning.
There we go. That's lovely.
All
Sorry,
right.
not quite with it today. Got a bit of COVID going on. Right. So good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely to be here. It really is. And as I said, I'm a menopause coach and hypnotherapist, and I work with ladies to educate them on menopause, because there's so many symptoms and it's just changing all the time. And it's not just about the obvious. It's not just about hot flushes and brain fog. There's a lot. There's actually about 74 symptoms at the moment. Just talk a bit more in a minute. So I educate, and then I help women to work their way through all phases of menopause. I like to call it the third phase of life, because it's not the end for us, it's a new beginning, and we can actually embrace and have a new life through it. But one of my favourite subjects within the menopause is nutrition, because HRT has its place, it really does. But as we get older, nutrition plays more and more of a part, because of it's a way of managing your general health as well as managing symptoms during menopause. So it's just a little bit about why nutrition is important. It can help with the common symptoms like the hot flushes, bloating, weight gain, fractures, indigestion, mental and cognitive function, sleep, muscle mass, the dreaded menopause tummy, because it's not always that we put weight on, it's just actually that our muscles loosen, because Mother Nature has decided we're finished with our tummy muscles. We've done all the childbirth and everything. We don't need them. So it just happens that we just lose that muscle. Hair and skin. I mean, I've just found a new symptom this week called candy floss, which I've been moaning about my hair being fuzzy for months, and seeing it's a menopause symptom, a new one that's been identified. Tiredness and fatigue. So on top of that, we obviously want to look after our heart, our brain, our bones, or general health, and nutrition, the right nutrition can really help us. And it's not about giving things up. It really isn't. So where to start? So the first thing actually with menopause is to know your symptoms and how they affect you in your daily life. Because it says there's 74 identified symptoms at the moment. So once you know which symptoms you have, then you can look at how they affect your life, and then you can look at how to treat them and how to change your life. Now, I'm going to share a PDF and send it through so it can be downloaded, because I have something called the menopause wheel, and that will help you identify those symptoms. So once you've done that, you look at nutrition. Now, nutrition starts with your vitamins and minerals. They are where you can get what you need to help your body heal itself, look after itself. That's where you need to be. And I think with minerals, we sometimes miss minerals. We talk about vitamins a lot, but we miss minerals. So the vitamins for menopause are vitamin A. So vitamin A is for bone growth. It boosts the immune system. It also protects our cells for damage. So this is great for looking after our cells when we're talking about things like cancer that can get us as we get older, blood diseases, things like that. And this then we can get vitamin A through cheese, broccoli. It must be boiled broccoli. Now, this is the thing with nutrition. It's not always the vegetable or the food itself, it's how it's cooked. So it must be boiled broccoli for this one. Baked sweet potatoes, mango, eggs, oily fish, which is always good for us. So we're talking like salmon, mackerels, that sort of thing. milk and yogurt. So that's for vitamin A. And bone growth is really important. Obviously, we've got osteoporosis as we get older, and women are really at risk for that. So we really need to look after our bones. So the next one is B7. Oh, and B7 is for, it aids energy, and it's involved in the production of hormones and cholesterol, and it reduces stress and anxiety. Now, stress and anxiety is a really big issue during menopause and can quite often be misdiagnosed by GPs who think it's depression, stress and anxiety due to normal life, not because of the menopause. And menopause stress and anxiety is slightly different, and it can be actually managed just by eating foods with B5 in them. So that's really important. So this is roasted boneless chicken. Again, it has to be roasted, it has to be boneless, because otherwise the nutrients are soaked into the bone. Sunflower seeds, fortified breakfast cereals. And for those that are not sure what fortified means that it's breakfast cereals with added vitamins and minerals added into it. And then the next one, vitamin C. We talk about vitamin C a lot because it's great all the way through life because of our immune system. It also boosts collagen. So this is great for our general health, also great for the skin because we lose collagen as we get older. So great for the skin. It helps bones and it helps with flexibility in bones. So when we're talking about brittle bones, vitamin C can stop that brittlity and help aid that. It boosts the mood levels and energy levels. Again, tiredness during menopause is a huge issue, and help fight fatigue. So take your vitamin C. Now, vitamin D is, oh, I didn't tell you where to get your vitamin C. Sorry, vitamin C you get from grapefruits, strawberries, mangoes, pineapples, kiwis, oranges, garlic, and raw red peppers. They must be raw, not cooked. Okay, so then we move on to vitamin D. Now, this is really important. This is an important one because it helps with other vitamins. So vitamin D actually helps with calcium and absorption of calcium. So it's great for bone health, teeth health, muscle, and helps protect with against osteoporosis. So again, back to that bone health. Now, the best source, and in the UK, we don't get a lot of this because the best source is sunlight. We struggle, especially where I am in Wales, because we get a lot of rain. But best source is sunlight. But if you can't get sunlight or you can't go into sunlight for health issues and you want to protect yourself, then there are foods. And that can be eggs, tinned tuna in water, not brine, cod liver oil, fortified margarine, so back to those added minerals, salmon and mushrooms. And there's a great tip for mushrooms for vitamin D. If you pop them onto your windowsill for 1 to 2 hours between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m, it actually multiplies the vitamin D in it, and it makes it just puts it on, it's mushrooms and vitamin D on steroids. So that's a really good tip for that one. And then we move on to vitamin E. Now, vitamin E, this is a good one because vitamin E helps with hot flushes. So this is great for 80% of women going through menopause either have hot flushes, night sweats, or both. So vitamin E is very, very important. And it also helps with painful periods. And a lot of ladies, and they're going through the perimenopause and the menopause stage, have very painful high blood flow periods. And this can really help with that pain. Physical endurance, because we do have to exercise, and it reduces the muscle damage, which again, as we get older, is really, really important. So it means that we can exercise without having the risk of muscle damage and muscle damage and injury. That's the word I'm looking for. So for food for vitamin E, it's wheat germ. Wheat germ is great to add into smoothies. Nuts, avocado, and plant oils. Plant oils are very, very important for menopause. So that's our vitamins. And after our vitamins, we look at minerals. And as I say, minerals sometimes get missed, but they're so important. Starting with calcium, we all know calcium is absolutely amazing for strong bones. And that helps with the vitamins, help that absorb. It encourages communication between the brain and the rest of the body. So this is great for, we talk about brain fog a lot during menopause. I know I suffer with it all the time. So this is really good to help against the brain fog, and helps the communication between the other parts of the body. Now, you can get this, this is one, you can get it from white bread. Now, white bread is not something I would usually say to put into a diet or for good health, but it does have its place. So it's everything in moderation. So white bread, freshly cooked kale, got to be fresh because it loses its minerals otherwise. Now, this is a good one, vanilla ice cream. So if you like your ice cream, you've got an excuse now to have ice cream, figs, cheddar cheese, and low-fat calcium yogurt. Okay, again, it's to do with them taking that fat out, boost the calcium. So it has to be low-fat. Moving on to copper, another good one for bone health. We're looking after our bones. It boosts the immune function. So again, this protects us moving forward, because if we don't have the right vitamins and minerals, we do become more susceptible to lots of different illnesses. And then the production of collagen again. So looking after our skin and all the bone health in our body. And where you can get this from is dried figs, raw avocados, so don't cook your avocados with this one, cooked potatoes and sesame seeds. And again, with the potatoes, everything in moderation. The next one is iodine. Now, this is one that's not talked about a lot, really. So for iodine, this is again great for the immune system, great for healthy skin. Now, I don't know about everyone else, but my skin went really dry, really itchy. This will really help with that. And teeth and hair, so no candy floss hair. And you can get iodine in apple juice, eggs, cheddar cheese. I am actually on top of these actually saying the cheddar cheese, chocolate ice cream, so you can have that with your vanilla, and baked cod, again, cooked baked. And the next mineral is iron. Now, iron is huge. A lot of women become anemic during a lot of their life, but certainly when they're going into menopause, because our period flow can be so heavy. And a lot of us have gynecological problems that actually drain us of our blood, which drain us of our iron. So iron is really, really important for that. And it also boosts the energy. If anybody's had any iron issues, you'll know the first thing that goes is your energy. You just don't even want to get up in the morning a lot of the time. So this is good. Baked potato this time. Cooked spinach, again, serve your spinach as soon as you can. And with cooked, we only mean wilted. Don't boil it, just wilt it on down. Dark chocolate, put that with your ice cream. Tinned stewed tomatoes, soybeans, and lentils. Okay, so that's our iron. Now, I will say you can always take these in supplements as well, but if you're doing anything with supplements, always check with your doctors first. Personally, I think it's better to get it through your nutrition where you can. Now, this is huge for women in menopause, magnesium. Every woman should be taking this if they can, because it's just so much for us. And I'm going to talk about getting it nutritionally, but I'll also give you another tip as well. So this is great for bone health. It calms the nervous system. So that is really important for women that get jittery, anxiety, stress, the itchiness on your skin. I get something called electric shock syndrome, which is just my skin going mad. So it helps calm all that. It energizes, and it can help with sleep issues. So it's got huge benefits. Now, you also need this to convert vitamin D into the active form. So if you're trying to absorb vitamin D, you must have magnesium in your system as well. And that enhances the calcium absorption as well. So those three work very much together. And it reduces achy joints, especially first thing in the morning. So if you suffer in the morning with your knees or a bad back, this is fantastic for that. And the way you can get magnesium is avocado, boiled spinach again. So this is boiled actually, not wilted. Leafy green veg, nuts, seeds, and whole wheat bread. But another tip is, especially if you have a bath, is to use bath salts. Epsom salts contains magnesium. So a good tip for that is to use Epsom salts with some Himalayan pink salt. And then if you really feel like treating yourself, add a couple of essential oils, and that will get the magnesium into your body. So it'll absorb into your body. So you're getting that. And you also then get the benefits of some beautiful essential oils as well. My other love in life. So moving on to that, we've got potassium. Now, I think we all know the potassium's in bananas, but what do we use it for? So builds bone and mineral density. So again, helping our bones, and that's really, really important, because with the density, it means we're less likely to have the fractures, so less likely to get osteoporosis. It can reduce calcium loss back to the bones. Muscle contraction, it actually helps with that as well. Digestion and heart rhythm, so all really important things. A lot of women suffer a lot of digestion issues moving into menopause and through it. This is where nutrition really can help, just by having the right diet and having the right minerals in your diet. And we all want to look after our heart. So bananas, milk, raisins, and dried apricots, and that's where you can get your potassium. Obviously, again, in moderation. And then on to sulfur. Now, sulfur is actually known as the beauty mineral, and it produces collagen, so great for the skin, and helps joint health. So that's a really important one as well, and one that gets missed along with a couple of the others. But this is easy to get. Most of us will have this in our diet. Turkey, beef, fish, eggs, lentils, oats, cheese, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. So that's a really nice, easy one to get into the system. And that's our minerals. So foods to avoid. Now, I say avoid. I believe that you can have everything as long as, one, you take it in moderation, and two, that you know that it might better some of the symptoms. So if you want a glass of cup of coffee, you can have a glass of coffee if you want as well. If you want a cup of coffee, then you may have a hot flush. And as long as you know that's going to happen and you still prefer a cup of coffee, then go for it. But again, keep your coffee to the morning. Try decaffeinating. Now, some really good decaffeinated coffees actually have up to 22% caffeine in them. So a really good way of dropping your caffeine and still getting that coffee hit. Colas, I would stay away from colas anyway because of sugar, certainly no sweeteners. Be sensible with the alcohol. Don't have to stop it altogether. It can help, again, cause night sweats and hot flushes. But for me, if I'm having a couple of glasses, it doesn't do it. So it's, again, knowing your own body, just trying it out. And if you really want a good night in the town, just know that you might have to have a hot flush. And there's other ways. You can make a nice hot flush spray or something instead. Spicy food, again, for hot flushes. And always go easy now on the carbs, which is what I was saying about the white bread and the potatoes, and up the protein. Very, very important that we have our protein. So how am I going to do this? It sounds complicated. It really, really, really isn't complicated. And a great way to start, and I am actually doing a course on this, but a great way to start is just to look at the Mediterranean diet, because the Mediterranean diet is high on protein, low on carbs, uses great vegetable oils and great vegetables and fruit. That's a really, really good way to get started. Nice and simple. Just write up Mediterranean diets and see where you go from there. And that is me. That's me finished. I'm not sure how I got on with time there.
All right. Well, we have a live attendee, and Melanie, welcome. And you're welcome to ask questions if you like.
No, I found that very informative. Thank you very much. It's a lot of good information there. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just trying to present these educational sessions on a daily basis for 10-15 minutes to help women in their mid-40s and beyond. And we're also launching programs. I was talking to Heather in the first of the year. So any questions, any comments, any feedback, how we are doing, how we can improve, what your thoughts are, you're welcome to share that.
No, I actually think it's a fantastic thing, because getting the information across, because even although I've read some stuff and looked at some websites, the information that comes from a professional is always better because they've done all the research. So something like this is great for going forward. I think.
Thank you.
Really well.
Thank you. Any last comments from you, Heather? I think it was an excellent presentation, very concise, precise, and telling actionable items, right? That is the key here, because we don't know. And we start, I mean, I know I start putting in all my herbs, you know, in my body without understanding the consequences, but that's not the right way. Putting the right kind of nutrition in your body is the key. Do you want to comment on that a little bit before I wrap up today?
Yeah, of course. Well, I think this is the thing with menopause. One, because it's just come to the forefront, we're allowed to speak about it now, which is amazing. But also there's a lot of myths out there. So it's getting through that, it's doing your research. So if you can work with somebody that's done all that research for you, that's absolutely amazing. So just look for people that you have a good rapport with and work with that person, and make sure that you understand, ask the questions. You've got a good rapport, and that you trust them. I think that's the main thing. And I forgot to say as well, I've got the 2 PDFs. So I've got the menopause wheel, which is fantastic because it's got all 74 known symptoms on there at the moment, which you can help, and then look at how it affects your life. And I've also got a PDF with all this information on, and some recipes that you can start with as well. So I will share that so you can put on the site.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Great. Share as much as you can. Like I told you, we are going to put it on our platform, which we are going to make it available at the first of the year. So stay tuned for everyone. With that, thank you so much. I'm really, really humbled by all the support from experts like you, people like yourself, Melanie, and all the people, the community that we are building for beautiful women in their 40s and above. Namaste.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.